Texting and driving, the #1 killer of American teens. A research by AT&T shows that 2 out of 10 drivers say they have sent text messages or email behind the wheel, despite laws against it. Clearly, this is becoming a serious problem in the United States and needs to stop. Local police officer, Trooper Borelli, explained what he had to say about the matter and what the laws are against distracted driving.
There is a Connecticut statute that covers operating a motor vehicle while using a handheld communication device, and it's illegal. It's an infraction. That covers using it as a phone, texting, or using it as a computer. The thing that's dangerous about texting while driving is even if you're going 30 miles an hour, you're covering about 44 feet in a second. So even when you glance down to type a text, just for a second or two, you're still covering a considerable amount of distance at a fairly slow speed. So if you were going faster, that distance would increase. So the dangerous thing is you're operating a vehicle where you could kill someone very easily or seriously injure yourself or someone else, and you're not watching what's happening in front of you.
On top of covering a considerable distance while texting and driving, it also increases your risk of an accident more than drinking and driving. Trooper Borelli tells us about his experience with a driver who was texting.
When I was working midnight shift prior to becoming the resident trooper, I had a car that I stopped thinking he was a drunk driver, but it actually turned out he was texting. It was on Route 15, and he was literally going from the right lane into the left lane, back into the right lane.
So some students of Woodland Regional High School were challenged to test out AT&T's texting and driving simulator. The online simulator synchronizes up with a smartphone and sends a message that you are required to answer while driving through the simulator. Here are what the results were.
And then the second time I ran into the car, for real, while looking at my phone.
I feel like texts are a big distraction because you have to text back and then your eyes are on the road, so that's why I probably crashed into a car.
It was very hard because you have to concentrate on the road, but you keep getting annoyed by text messages.
On this segment of the Today Show, you will see texting and driving caught on camera and the damages it can cause.
Now we want to move on to an alarming warning about texting while driving. You know it's dangerous. Many people still continue to do it, and now there's some frightening new video that proves how bad it can be. Here's NBC's Janet Shamlian.
On a busy Texas interstate, traffic up ahead is at a dead stop. You can see it, but the driver of this San Antonio City bus speeding down the road clearly had something else occupying his attention. Betty Jo Hummel was in the driver's seat of that SUV.
Here it comes. Oh my God, that's bad. It's horrible. It was the most horrific thing I've probably ever lived through.
With 2 disabled passengers strapped in behind him, why didn't the driver ever slow down? Take a look at what Adrian Perez was doing instead. He pulls out his cell phone and starts texting, and not just for a few seconds. For 6 minutes leading up to the crash, Perez was looking down. And when he finally focuses on the road, it's way too late. Now he's alert, and he knows he's in trouble. Perez isn't the only offender. These San Antonio City bus drivers are also driving while dealing with their phones. This woman texting at 65 miles an hour.
It's just like, pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention when you have so many lives at stake.
Betty Jo Hummel says she's lucky to be alive. Others caught between a cell phone and a driver haven't been as fortunate. 10 days ago, a Houston motorist veered into a flooded ravine. He and 2 others were able to get out, but 5 of his children drowned in the back seat. Police say a cell phone was involved. And 25 people died on a California commuter train last September. Records show the driver sent and received text messages in the moments before the crash. Back in Texas, cameras recorded the danger, but it was passengers who reported it as they sat in the back, hoping they'd live to tell. For Today, Janet Shamlian, NBC News, Dallas.
You see it all the time. when you're on the highway, people doing things
Very
like
scary.
that. And
It's
we
amazing.
we should show this tape over and over again
as
to
a
see what can
reminder.
happen.
If you think this issue does not happen around here, you'd be painfully mistaken. Just last year, a 16-year-old female driver was texting and driving and hit and killed a 66-year-old male jogger right in Norwalk, Connecticut. Another, not as serious, occurred in Oxford, Connecticut, when a 34-year-old man dropped his cell phone while texting and then crashed into a utility pole as he tried to pick it up.